Good morning again, guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel, guys. Today, guys, I just want to be short with this video, guys. Today I'm recording the Creditors Reconciliation, guys. I just have a short question, guys. Just gonna do a short question and see how things are done in Creditors Reconciliation, guys. Before I move on to what I will be discussing now, I just want to clarify few concepts regarding the Creditors Reconciliation, right, guys. When we go to the Creditors Reconciliation, these are the things that you're going to know, right? Let me change the color. Black, right. The things that you're going to see here, it will be a statement from creditors, statement from creditor, correct? What is this, guys? This is the statement you receive only when you buy goods on credit. I repeat, this is the statement you receive when you buy goods on credit. You cannot receive this statement if you are buying goods on cash, right? So, who will be providing the statement? It is your creditor, the wholesaler that allows you to buy goods from them on credit as a business. These are the people that they will give you the statement. Same as the government. I mean, not the government. I meant to say the bank. Same as the bank. When you make transaction, when you use your card, when you use your bank, it always keeps record on what you are buying. It always keeps record on what you are receiving in the bank. So you have to to make it to reconcile with your bank account, right? So in this situation, the creditors, the people that we are buying on credit from, they keep record that on this day, Mr. Ramshai's business have bought more goods on credit. On this day, Mr. Ramshai's business have returned goods. You understand, guys? So this is the transactions that we're going to see inside the statement that we receive. Are we clear? Right. This statement, it must be the same. Let me write equal to here. It must be the same with what? With our creditors control. This is where we are keeping it. But now, what are we going to do now? We are not going to focus on the creditors control. Now we're going to focus on the creditors ledger. Creditors ledger, guys. So this is this creditors ledger or creditors control. It is prepared by us as a business. If our business is Ramshai Ltd, we as Ramshai Ltd, we have to prepare a creditors ledger. Now on their side, they are going to prepare us a statement that will show those transactions that we bought, we settled our credit, we returned goods to them, right? Such information. Now remember the two things. Now we are now going to see debit note and a credit note, right? So when we come across what we call a credit note, just know that goods were returned. Are we clear, guys? Just know that a debit note must be issued to our creditor, and our creditor must issue us a credit note to show that they have acknowledged the returns of the goods that we issued a debit note to them. Clear? Right. Another thing that we have to see here, we have to see also the settlement of our credits, right? Now, another thing, business does not have one creditor. Are we clear, guys? As a business, as an Ramshai Ltd, I'm not going to have one creditor. Why? I will have, as long as my product are not the same, I will be getting a certain product from a certain wholesale and a certain product from another wholesale. So that means I will be having multiple creditors, right? So when you do a creditors reconciliation, you are not going to take all your creditors into one account. You separate those accounts. You focus on one creditor. Even the statement will tell you that you are reconciling the statement from which company. Okay, guys. So let's go to the question and see what we're going to do. Right. Here's a quick question, guys. Simple, short. Right. The statement received from a creditor, Taljat Suppliers, on the 28th of February 2009, reflect that Ashmore traders owe them 11,790. The creditors ledger in the books of Ashmore traders reflect that they only owe Taljat Supplier 8,310. Right. Before we go to the information, to the errors and omission, I want to explain something, guys. In accounting, be a business accountant. Pick a side that you are going to be this. You are representing this business. So in this situation, we are not going to represent the Dulce supplier, but we are now going to represent what? The Ashmore traders. This is us. Okay, guys. So whatever that you do, just know that you are the accountant of this business here. Right? Now, use the below table to indicate how the difference between the creditor statement and the creditor's ledger could be handled in order to settle the correct balance total at the end of the month. Right, guys, another thing is that here, when you look at these two, you have to know who prepared this. Right? Okay. The creditor's ledger is prepared by us. I will just write us here. And then this statement the statement is prepared by them. Are we clear? So this is us and this is them, right? So this is according to them, we owe them 11,709. But when we check our books, it says we owe them 8,310. So now it is necessary for us to reconcile the creditor's ledger with the statement. Now, let me do another thing. You see this statement, when you are reconciling, now it's just the question is only based on the two column. Ne? So, but when you go to other questions, they will say do a creditors reconciliation. So this statement, when you are reconciling the statement, it is no longer called a statement. It is called a creditors. It is now called a creditors reconciliation. It is now called creditors reconciliation. It is no longer the statement. Okay, the statement is what we received, but now we correct what we receive. We reconcile it with our creditors ledger. Now it becomes a creditors reconciliation. But I hope that is clear, right? Now, what am I going to do here? I'm just going to throw the same account that they say we must use, right? So it's going to be a balance here. So balance according to the creditors ledger. You see, this tablet always gives me problem. Maybe someone can donate me a nice tablet so that I share this information, so that other learners now they must now be they must pass this subject. I'm not doing this for fun. I'm just doing this so that other learners that are finding this subject difficult, they can benefit That is why I choose to open this YouTube channel. Right, statement from is it the seen accounting. Now they don't no longer talk about Naidu. Hey guys, when we were I was still in high school, they liked this person Naidu. If you ask old accounting people, they will tell you that Naidu is the richest person in the world. So now they come up with these names here, right? Balance. Now let's check. According to us, we're owing them 8,310. According to them, is 11,720. Right? So now we're going to check the errors and omission. Who made the mistake on this? Who did not record well? So we're going to check such fix, right? So number one, let's go look at number one. Right, number one, it says the EFT sent by the Archmore traders to Dulce Supplies for the settlement of January account was not received by them within the stipulated time, and therefore the discount of 500 claimed by the Archmore traders in the creditors ledger must be cancelled. Where do we cancel? We cancel the 500 rent in the Archmore creditors ledger. Who? In our site. We have to cancel what? The discount, right? Now guys, remember previously the discount, it was recorded, right? And this discount, it was subtracted. So what do we do to cancel the subtracted discount? So what do? We add, so that when we add, it's gonna be minus 500 plus 500, so it's going to be 0. That means the discount is cancelled. So when we go to our creditors ledger, we are not going to say plus here. We just write 500. In accounting, if you see any amount being like this, just know that it is a negative. It's a positive. But once you see an amount inside the brackets, it means it's a negative. Right? So once we see this 500, we know that we're going to say 8,000 plus 500. Right? So that is how the first transaction or error is going to be solved. Right? Let's go to number 2. Let's solve number 2. Right? Returns recorded as 720 in the creditors ledger of Archmore were recorded as 810 on the statement received from Dulce Supplies. Guys, from here up until this full stop here, there is no direction. They are not saying who is wrong, who is right. They haven't told you who made the errors, right? So don't make a judgment or a conclusion. So read further more to get the conclusion. Okay, this information says we are wrong or they are wrong, because we can see that the amounts that were recorded are not the same. We recorded 720 for the returns, and they have recorded 810. So we don't know who is wrong, right? So let's check. They say Archmore has miscalculated the cost of the goods returned. So now we can make a conclusion that we as Archmore, we made a mistake. We recorded less instead of recording 810. So we have recorded less. So we're going to check the less that we recorded. How much is it? Are we clear? So first thing first, returns. How do we record the returns in the first place? Are they positive or are they negative? The returns are negative. How are they negative? It's because they they reduce what we owe. We are returning the goods that we bought on credit, right? So if we return those goods, that means we are no longer owing those goods. So the credit for those certain goods, it must be taken out of our creditors ledger, and then in their side they must also take that amount in their statement out, right? Because we are no longer going to owe them for those certain goods. Are we clear? So look at this. Our returns were 810, but we in our books we recorded 710. So we're going to check the difference, right? So is 810 minus 720, of which gives me 90 rand. So this 90 rand, where must it go? Should it be a positive or it should be a negative, right? So this 90 rand, it is going to be a negative. Why? We subtracted less, so we must subtract more to reach 810. Okay, so remember this one, already it is subtracted. So to reach 810, what do? We subtract more of 90 rand. Okay, so we're gonna come to our creditors ledger and subtract. I start with the brackets, subtract 90 rand. That is how it's going to be recorded, right? So let's go to the third one. I hope whoever is watching this is understanding, is following. Right, let's go to the third one. An invoice received from the told suppliers was correctly recorded as 7,700. Look at this. I want to stop here. Oh, there's even a full stop, I think. An invoice received from the told suppliers was correctly recorded as 7,700 by Archmore. So guys, if you look at this information, an invoice, it is issued by our creditor when we bought goods on credit. I repeat, invoice, it is issued by our creditor when we buy goods on credit. It doesn't matter that we are buying more goods on credit or it's our first time, third time, they will always, when we buy goods on credit, they will issue us with the invoice, right? So the invoice, it was of an amount of 7,700, okay? So we have recorded it correctly. So let's see the mistake they did. They say on the statement received from the told suppliers, it was however incorrectly recorded as 7,770. What a different. Let me go to a clean page. What a different. Let me add another one. What a different. We recorded the correct amount of 7,700. They have recorded an amount of 770. What a different. Okay, so okay, going forward on how to record this one, we check invoice. How must it affect our creditors? Is invoice, I like them this way, is it positive or negative? Okay, those are the questions that you must ask yourself first before answering this question, right? So invoice, guys, it is a positive. It increases what you owe, right? So whatever balance you were owing before, so this invoice must be added. So this amount, it was added, right? It increased the balance in the statement, in the credit, and also in the creditors ledger, right? But look at this, the statement is reflecting 770 instead of 7,700. So what are we going to do? We are going to check the difference. We're going to check the difference. The difference is going to be 7,700 minus 770. The difference is the 6,930. Now, here is the question. Should we add or subtract this amount? in the statement. Remember, it is going to the statement, right? So answer is we must add. Why? They have added less. So what do we do? The less that we have added, we must increase this less by 6,930 to reach an invoice of how much? To reach an invoice of 7,700. So when we go to our statement, we are going to say number 3. Number 3, we add 6,930. What is it? 30? Yes, 6,930. Just like that. Then you are done. Nothing affecting the creditors ledger. The creditors ledger, everything was recorded correctly. Right, let's go to number 4. I promise that I'm going to keep this lesson short. Right, let me remove this. Okay, before an EFT for 3,000 issued by Ashmore has not yet been recorded on the statement received from the tile supply. This is simply as a result of timing difference. Okay, timing difference, simple is that when they issued the statement, we then made an EFT payment, right? So their statement is not going to reflect this payment because we made the payment after the statement on their side was issued. So the statement now, it will show the statement is from the 1st up until the 28th, but you find out that we made the payment on the 29th. So you see the payment went after the statement was issued. So that is why they are saying timing difference, right? So what are we going to do? It is an outstanding EFT, I will say that, right? So what are we going to do? Let's go and record it now. So when we record this, what are we going to do? Who recorded? Who did not record? We have recorded. Remember, the moment a business issued a document, immediately they record it, right? So it means we have recorded and they have not recorded, right? So this EFT, okay, I will still have it. I've talked about invoice and what else? Invoice and the returns. So take this concept, invoice, returns, and what was this one? Okay, invoice and return. So now I'm going to talk about the EFT. Should the EFT be a negative or a positive? Who issue an EFT? We as a business, we only issue an EFT when we settle our credit. Okay, so this amount, definitely it should be a negative. When you see an EFT, what must come to your mind is that we are reducing what we owe our creditors. So how much were we reducing? We were reducing 3,000 rand. Simple as that. Okay, guys. So now let's check again. Number 5. Number 4 is done. We are done. Just like that, we are done. Right. Let's go to number 5. Let me remove this. Right. An invoice of 3,500 received from the tile supplies was incorrectly recorded as a credit note by the bookkeeper of Ashmore. Hey man, our bookkeeper, man. Hey, this person. I like accounting, guys. I like accounting a lot. Right. Look at what happened. An invoice. What must come to your mind when we talk about the invoice is that, where did I write the invoice? Let me check. Oh, here's the invoice. What must come to our mind is that the account must go up. It must be an increase. Right? Let me do another page so that I only explain this one. So when we see an invoice, what must come to our mind is that the account, our balance must go up. It must increase. right? So look at what happened. Our bookkeeper recorded as a credit note an invoice for 3,500 received from the Dutch suppliers was incorrectly recorded as a credit note by the bookkeeper. Our bookkeeper. Remember, guys, immediately our creditor issue us an invoice. It means we bought goods on credit, so our balance must skyrocket, must go up, but not ridiculously so, according to what we bought, right? So our bookkeeper recorded this amount as a what? As a credit. Already in our books, it is recorded as a credit note. What comes to our mind is that we know that a credit note, let me change this pen and make it a red one. We know that a credit note means a negative. Our balance must go down, right? So already the balance went down with 3,500, right? So instead of our balance going up with 3,500, so what are we going to do now? There are corrections that we have to do. There are errors that we have to correct now, right? So look at this. First thing that we do, was it supposed to be a credit note? No. A big no. What was it supposed to be? It was supposed to be an invoice. So this is what we're going to do. Is an accounting. We must cancel this. When we cancel, we don't just do this in accounting. Okay. So I want to show you. Let's go back here. What we're going to do, we're going to say we subtract, right? But look at this amount. We cannot just subtract because the amount was not added. The amount was subtracted. So we are going to cancel this 3,500 by doing what? By coming to our creditors ledger and adding 3,500. Opposite side. Then the balance is 0 now. We have cancelled the transaction of a credit note. Now that is not the end. Let's record the real account now. Now we're going to record the real account. What is the real account now? Our real account is the invoice. What does the invoice do to our balance? The balance must go up. So what do? We come to the same account, then we add again 3,500. So if you check the first 3,500, it is for corrections. We are correcting the account that was incorrectly recorded. Then the second 3,500 now, it is to record the correct account, which was an invoice. So what must we do? We can simply add 7,000 to the creditor's ledger. Any transaction that we left out, we no longer have any information that we left out, right? So we can now do the final balances. Our final balances, let's start with the creditors ledger, is 8,310 plus 500 minus 90 plus 7,000, which is equals to 15,720. Then let's go to the statement, is 11,720 plus 6,930 minus 3,000. Let me check something. Oh, the balance is 11,790. Not 11,790 plus 6,930 minus 3,000. That means when I wrote this balance, I made a mistake. I'm sorry for that, guys. So our balance now becomes 15,720. So you see now we have reconciled our statement from our creditor with the creditor's ledger without forcing anything. We are not balancing here, guys. Automatically, when you go down, when you do the calculations, you add, you subtract, the balances must be the same, because the information says after the investigation they have realized that these are the errors, these are the omissions that were made, right? So this is our creditors reconciliation. So this is our creditors reconciliation right here. We have reconciled the statement from the creditors with our creditors ledger. Right, that is the end of our lesson, guys. Feel free, guys, to comment, share my videos, subscribe to my channel. I'm only doing this, guys, to benefit learners. That's what I like in my life. I just want to benefit people, just to know more, get this information differently, use it wisely. Thank you, guys. I will be back again. Thank you.